In 2007, we traveled through the vast wilderness of Northeast India to learn about its forests and people. This is our second morning in the jungles around Rachi village with a group of Nishi tribesmen. It is a rare license to be allowed to accompany them into the forest. The Nishi are a hunter community who have little contact with the modern world. The jungle stretches thick and lush around Rachi village for miles. This is their private domain, their community property. Whatever they do here, they consider their right. The expanse of forests around Rachi is a speck in the wild lands of Northeast India. Some of the last few pockets of rainforests in the world exist here. These forests teem with wildlife from the crown to the canopy. Still, one can only catch a fleeting glimpse of rare birds and mammals that live in these dense jungles. As we spend time with the Nishi group, we understand their deep bond with the forest. It is their home, their lives rooted in it. Hunting has always been common here, but the nature of that hunting has changed. It is no longer just a way of life. It is being driven by an increasing need for cash necessary in a modern world. We first came to the Northeast in 2002. We were here to film the story of orphaned bear cubs being rehabilitated in the wild in Pake National Park in Arunachal Pradesh. These bears have been orphaned by hunting. Is their survival in the wild even possible as long as hunting exists? How widespread is hunting in this region? Is the current scale of hunting sustainable? What is the future of wildlife here? These questions led us across different parts of Northeast India for several years. The deeper we went, the more signs of hunting we saw. We have returned to Rachi to capture and understand the situation on the ground. A 2-hour walk from the nearest roadhead, Rachi mirrors many other villages in the northeast, with no electricity, road, proper schools or healthcare. About 60 Nishi families live here. We had come here with Tarang, the first graduate from this village. He now works with the forest department. Tarang was here with a purpose in his mind. Tarang's father, Naban Taya, was one of the best hunters of his generation.
He was regarded to be the father of hunter. He was the best. And in that time, the status of my father for hunting was also very high in the village.
In the old days, to be an ace hunter was a position of high honor. You achieved it with great skill and austere practice. Very few made the mark. Now there is a troubling shift.
And nowadays it is not seen in the village because everybody is a hunter. Even the school boys who got education, they came back with the gun and they become a hunter.
Tarang's words echoed what we ourselves had seen across the northeast. Hunting is deep-rooted and exists in different forms in different parts of the region. Most young boys hunt, partly for leisure, partly because they have nothing else to do, and also because it's a traditional role they are expected to fulfill.
हम लोग ये रास्ता से जाके वो एकदम पूरा वो बादल एक पकड़ लिया वो जगह में हम लोग आज छुएगा मैंने तो वो जगह में हम लोग जानवर देख मिलेगा मैंने आज तो इससे हम लोग जाएगा तो भी लेकर ये नामिक लेन से लेकर
The area pointed out belongs to the village. It is a part of the community domain.
अभी हम लोग यहाँ से ये जो है ये एरिया को कवर करेगा मतलब जितना बागान पार्टी वाला वहाँ लोग बैठा हुआ है वहाँ से वो तोप तक जाएगा और वो तोप में हम लोग जितना जो बंदूक पार्टी है वहाँ में एम्बुश करके देते हैं तो अभी इसके लिए हम लोग निकल रहे हैं
आता तो
Hunts, like the one we are going on, can take many forms. Some hunters still lay traditional traps. Some use guns. Some groups keep armed hunters waiting atop a hill while the rest of the team drives the animals towards them, beating at the undergrowth. Some mimic the distress calls of fawns to lure female deer. Like the Nishi, most tribes in the northeast see no relation between hunting and their rapidly diminishing resources. Hunting may have been rooted in tradition, but it is no longer just for subsistence.
हम लोग या पहाड़ में जो कुछ रुपया कमाने के लिए जगह नहीं है, इसी से हंटिंग करके बालूक से जो सुंगार से जंगल सुंगार से जो चिड़िया से जो कुछ ये डियर से मार के हम लोग बेचता है। उसी से हम लोग रुपया तोड़ा 1-2 रुपया लेके हमारे मेरा पत्नी और माँ बच्चा जो कुछ के लिए जो हमारा परिवार के लिए कुछ थोड़ा काम आता है रुपया लेके, जो कपड़ा जो चीनी चाय के लिए काम आता है।
तो मैंने एक पेड़ है, वो पेड़ में उस तरफ एक हम लोग लोकल का एक गम है, वो गम लगा के उसी में फंसा था और कम से कम 40-50 तो फंसा है।
For most people here, hunting is akin to harvesting the fruits of the forest. In earlier times, it gave them food. Now, it brings them money in addition to food. Unaware of legalities, the people in these far-flung areas see wildlife as a resource they can tap to generate cash. Most families in a village like Rachi are self-sufficient, with enough for their basic day-to-day needs. Every family has poultry and livestock. Green vegetables, grain and wood come from their forest and their land. What they do not have is a source of cash to provide for their new needs. Fueled by the increasing demand for wild meat from cities across the northeast, hunting is turning into the primary source of cash for those who do not have access to other livelihood options. Wild meat is mostly transported by public transport and is a common commodity that finds its way to the marketplace. For 6,000 rupees, this deer has travelled from a faraway forest to the jeep of a government official. We are awed by the Northeast, by its dense forests teeming with wildlife and people living in tandem with nature. An idea difficult to reconcile with what lies before our eyes.
itu kan 350 aja.
वही मारने के लिए तो एयर गन बनाया हुआ है, तो क्या किस काम के लिए है एयर गन?
200.
भाई नम तो
कदम में थोड़ा कुछ टकरा फायदा भी होगा।
itu cinta deh
Si market si itu baru mau gua उन्होंने इम तो है
बोल के रखते हैं ऐसे ऐसे चिड़िया सारा मिलने से ला दीजिए जंगल का जो चीज़ मिलने से ला दीजिए ऐसे बोलते हैं बोलने के बाद वो लाते लाने के बाद फिर रुपया दे देते हैं कितना कितना दाम है
400
150 में बोला 150 में रेंज देना।
The biggest danger is that wild meat sales bring significant earnings.
सब्जी सिर्फ बेचने से उसमें नहीं होगा महीना में 1500-2000 हो सकता है मछली ये सब जंगल का जानवर चीज ये सब बिक्री करने से महीना आपका एक आदमी में 15,000 रह सकता है।
While cash is now a driving force in the wild meat trail, there are clearly other aspects to the use of animal parts in local ritual and culture that is deeply ingrained in the psyche of the people here. It is the festival season around Rachi and other parts of Arunachal Pradesh. Nyokum, celebrated by the Nishis, and Myoko, celebrated by the Apatanis, are communal ceremonies conducted for the well-being and prosperity of the community. Central to these ceremonies are the sacrificial animals that are both messengers and appeasement for the guardian spirits of the communities. Animal products are integral to the clan and represent tribal identity and prestige.
ये चाहिए ना ये बंदर का ये चमड़ा चाहिए इधर लगाने का मेरा अभी कितना था बराबर इतना इतना लंबा दाव है उसमें ये चमड़ा नहीं है रिश्तेदार को उधर जाना है इसलिए मतलब उधर ये लगा के जाने से थोड़ा स्टैंडर्ड बढ़ता है इसलिए मतलब चमड़ा को चाहिए इसलिए चमड़ा हम लोग की ज़रूरी चीज़ है मतलब
There are no straight answers here. Hunting is both rooted in history and driven by current needs. Any attempt to recast the future will need to address both. In Rachi, these thoughts are also foremost in Tarang's mind.
This village has lot of natural resource, and this is a village which comprises with lot of variety of flora and fauna. But because of our innocent, villagers are innocent, Our people did not know much importance about natural resource. So I have decided to come back and at least to give awareness about the importance of these natural resources, because these natural resources will one day be the backbone of this village.
Tarang shares his views with the people in his village. While many find it difficult to accept the idea of not hunting, everyone here agrees that the wildlife resources in their forest have been diminishing over the past few years. They understand this because they have to go longer and longer distances to hunt. On 22nd February 2007, a meeting was held here in Rachi. After much debate, the village unanimously decided to ban hunting and fishing in their area for 3 years. The Rachi Forest and River Protection Society was formed with Tarang as its head. Village leaders decided to impose fines for breaking the rules.
If we continue this hunting practice and trapping practice, we will be too late for us to realize about the importance of wild animal and the importance of forest. So this ecological imbalance has reached to the mind and heart of people. Now they are trying to at least realize about how to protect it.
There were further discussions on how to manage the community forest, develop a community sanctuary open to travelers, homestays and traditional huts, possible marketing of organic food and handicrafts. People understood that if they could turn their natural wealth into revenue, a source of cash, then they would have the incentive to protect it. With the ban, Tarang and his people have taken a step forward. Similar stories are emerging in other parts of the Northeast. The Nature Conservation Foundation has been working on health and conservation with the Lisu tribe in Arunachal Pradesh. In Selbelgre, Meghalaya, the villagers have turned their community forest into a reserve forest area with the help of Wildlife Trust of India. In Nagaland, Konoma, the first green village of Nagaland, has become a successful model of conservation and ecotourism by sustaining the ban on hunting for more than 10 years. These conservation initiatives are definite milestones and may be the roadmap for the future of the Northeast. But right now, their scale is too small to reverse the continuous loss of wildlife. Northeast India is one of the few remaining pockets of forest and wildlife, not only in India but the world. About 54% of the total area of the Northeast is still covered by forest. The plant diversity is estimated at about 13,500 species, more than half of which are endemic to the region. There are over 1,000 species of birds and 300 species of mammals. It is home to critically endangered animals like the Hulock gibbon, the one-horned rhino, and the Asian elephant. To ignore this loss of treasure will be a big mistake. Often bear cubs continue to arrive at the rehab center in Pake. Giant squirrels, slow loris, and other Schedule 1 species continue being sold on the roads. There is an urgency required to catalyze support for any critical shift. We have to embrace a more holistic view of progress, one that includes other living members of our forests. Can these isolated points of change be woven together into a web of action so that the living forests can one day become the future for their people?